Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Innervated podcast. This is episode 11. As usual, I'm your host, Radoslav Nitrokolev, and we are recording on the 9th of June 29th. As usual, I'm joined by my co-hosts. These are the same bunch that you guys listened to in the last episode. So, again, they are the best possible people to discuss this episode's main topic, but we'll get to this later. Again, a short introduction to the guys. As usual, we have the Chiv here, like in every episode.
I'm like the most reliable thing there is for this show, you know?
There will be one day that I will not be here, and then you'll be hosting the show.
Guys. Oh, good. Then we're going to change the name because that spell is garbage, and it'll be just
No, you can do whatever you want, but you cannot change the name. The name is there to irritate people. I know that someday Lothar will tune into our show, and he'll go like, "Oh, fuck these guys, like really," and then I'll just stop being friends with him. What have you been doing this past week since the last episode?
Well, I had the procedure that I had to do, and I've been in somewhat of a recovery state since then. I know people have been wishing me a lot of, hey, hope you're feeling better, hope your back gets better, and thank you and everything. This was just for imaging and all that, but it was what they call evasive. So yeah, that was fun. But I'm still doing what I got to do. Still putting out new deck guides, new videos, promoting people as much as I possibly can who are doing stuff. So it's been a lot of fun in between drug-fueled hazes.
Last week you said you're going to redesign Hunter. How's that going?
There's a lot of mechanics in Hunter that, as I redesign one card, I realize it breaks with this card, so I have to redesign that. It's an ongoing process. Now I understand why, Team 5 had so many difficulties with it, but it's getting done.
All right, we have also Sumadin here joining us, a passionate card designer himself. How are you doing, man, and what have you been doing this past week?
Not a lot, just playing Hearthstone, and that's it.
Oh, come on.
Well, actually, I've been playing a lot of Warcraft because they just released a new patch, so...
Warcraft? Yeah. Wow.
World of Warcraft.
Oh, wow. Oh, you're one of those.
I saw that, and I was actually thinking about resubbing, and then they released 4 new patches for Ark Survival Evolved. I was like, nope, this is more fun.
And finally, we have Christian joining us back. You're off a very stacked weekend of casting the Tavern Brawl tournament to your house.
Yeah.
We'll get to this later, but overall, how are you doing tonight, and so on and so forth?
I'm pretty good. Just.
I like how I see that there's sunlight coming from outside, and it's like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
Oh, it's actually 7. Let's blind the camera for a second. I can draw the blinds.
Why is it?
Chiv turns away all of a sudden.
Why is it 7 at your place?
I'm on GMT, the same time as Britain in the winter.
All right. Okay.
We don't switch in daylight savings.
All right. Yeah, because you don't have.
Right. The lighting doesn't mesh anymore. I'll turn it back down.
It's Shadow Man.
Yeah, the wonders of Sweden, of Iceland.
The wonders of Sweden.
Iceland, Vikings, whatever.
Sweden is so amazing that it's actually Iceland. That's the secret of the country. As usual, we are starting.
As a Dane, I'm terribly offended now.
Why? Because we didn't mention your what?
Yeah, that's pretty much the case every time.
Yeah, I guess they always forget you, right? Always.
All right, calm down, Hamlet. Yeah. That's the only Danish thing I know is Hamlet and Danish.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Wait, Hamlet is Danish?
Yeah.
Really?
I had no idea.
I live in the States, and even I know that. Come on now, you guys have better educational systems. What the fuck?
We have an educational system, so yeah,
touche.
We are ahead. Anyway, starting with a quick news recap of the past week. On Tuesday, Masan joined Cloud9. So for Cloud9, this is the first actual signing of a player since they picked up Tides of Time last year. Masan was previously on Team Solomid, was teamless for a while. Now he's found a new home. How do you guys think he fits in the Cloud9 roster overall?
I would have appreciated if you said that he went solo top for a while, but...
Solo top?
Yeah, because he was on solo mid, right?
Oh god, this is like you have to put $1 in the pun jar now, in the bad pun jar. We actually had this in our office, and they had to close it because people were, wasting their salaries and shit. But, yeah,
That's great.
so yeah, after he was solo top, obviously, for some time now. Now he's on Cloud9. Do you guys like him in the roster?
He fits pretty nicely. You look at the rest of the roster, there's already some pretty big power names there. So I think this will definitely help improve his game. Masan, he does relatively okay, but he's just like missing that little bit of like extra to kind of carry him over in a lot of these matchups that we've seen him perform in. So I think, getting to work with some of the other guys there in Cloud9 will actually improve his gameplay.
Yeah, because people usually see him as a streamer and initially as an arena player.
Mhm.
But, now as you say, he's joining a pretty powerful team of people. All of them, like, they're arguably the best team in the world, alongside Nihilum, I would say. Because, especially in the rankings that we calculate, they're constantly fighting for the
Right.
first place. And usually the difference is very marginal. So, basically we can say they're tied for first in terms of results. Obviously, Cloud9 have Colento, Strife Crow, some of the most active and the most consistent players in the scene. Tides of Time is not, playing regularly, but again, a powerhouse and an innovative deck builder. So I'm curious to see what Masan will do with Cloud9 with more preparation now.
Well, Masan
Yeah.
is a good deck builder, though. That's
Yeah.
something a lot of people don't realize. I mean, he does build some really good decks. It's just, sometimes he makes some questionable plays. Sometimes he gets tilted, and that happens to a lot of people. So hopefully he'll be able to, settle down more, get a little bit more experience, and pick up a few tips and tricks off of these, like, legendary powerhouses, especially like Strife Crow, because nothing actually ever tilts that guy for some reason.
He's super nice.
I know.
Always friendly.
It's weird.
Okay, so on Wednesday we had the new brawl coming up, and it was bananas. Again, I put $1 in the bad pun jar already, so I'm allowed to say this a couple of more times. And the challenge was every time a minion dies, you get a random banana, and the banana was one of 4 effects, like it was +1/+1, +2/+2, deal 1 damage, and what was the other? Just swap attack and health of a minion. So all of those costed 1 mana, and expectedly cards that work well with cheap spells, were the flavor of the week. Things like the Flamewaker mages were absolutely dominant. We saw lots of Violet teachers. Weirdly enough, we didn't see many gadgets and auctioneers, but I guess it doesn't really fit the team because you don't.
I
really-
would
we saw-
actually say, I would actually say Gaslow fits better because
Yeah, thank you.
the decks that would utilize gadgets and auctioneer has nothing to draw
Yeah,
of value.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's aggro. So
That-
Gaslow is
That's all this brawl was just one giant cancer fuckfest. Let's be honest. Like, well, let's look at the top decks that were there. You had obviously Tempo Mage, which was running about like 65%, depending
Yeah.
on your variation.
Then
You
65? Don't be ridiculous. The numbers are much bigger than that.
yeah.
Okay, from my personal experience, I was getting about 65. You had zoo-based decks, which were doing really good, especially when you consider like implosions, things of that nature.
Imkang Boss.
Nerubian eggs. Oh my God, Nerubian egg. This was like its value week. And then
Yeah.
Dragon Egg was better, I think.
Dragon Egg was extremely good too. Yes. And then you had my personal favorite, Agrodin. Yes, the Shakadin deck that like kind of phased out in the meta and then came back in resurgence just because of this.
We
Because don't need a Mukla now.
We actually, had our own tournament on Saturday and Sunday, and actually hosting the first ever Tavern Brawl Open in the game. So, and this is something that we want to continue doing every week. But when obviously on Saturday we had no restrictions, everybody was playing Mage. So we said, okay, fuck it. On Sunday we just banned Mage because we actually want to see other classes playing in this brawl. Unsurprisingly, we saw a lot of Warlocks, but what was surprising is that we saw a lot of not Shakadins but mid-range Paladins. We also had some, Noxious actually said in our chat that because there was like a Shaman with Clockwork Giants and Mountain Giants and Wind Fury. So this
Oh yeah, that's the one. I really like that deck.
yeah.
Oh
So
my
apparently
God,
this
that
is
thing is so
Noxious. This is why we loved it. I'm still, trying to chase the guy for his deck list, but now I can just get it from Noxious. Then, this was amazing. Unfortunately, this guy lost to a couple of disconnects because he was playing from Italy, and apparently Italy has shit internet. Now, who would have thought? But anyways, what do you guys, did you guys like the brawl better compared to the Ragnaros Nefarian thing? Because my personal take is it's kind of a step in the right direction in terms of it allows deck building, but it didn't allow any creative freedom whatsoever. Because the banana thing, it was only going to push you one way, and I think it pushed towards tempo mages and zoo way too much, in my opinion.
I face hunted that thing, and it was just easy as sin. It's just so fucking cancerous. I mean, I know why they did it. They wanted to put something that everybody's familiar with. You can't put in too extreme of a concept and expect people to adapt it right away. You got to, make soft curve into it. So you look at the first one, we had basically a ramped up version of a zoo deck versus a handlock style of control deck. Here, you had have at it, and by the way, cancer is your best friend. So it was almost entirely all aggro, which is the most common thing we've all seen. You go to any forum, and there's like 1,001 plus complaints about aggro and or hunter, because they kind of go hand in hand. So
kind of nothing different than usual other
exactly. It was a natural evolution. They were going to have to do the one that everybody could easily recognize, because at the end of the day, this is basically a puzzle solving game in its own right way. So you make the puzzle simple.
Yeah. People in chat saying they're doing well with traditional handlock, actually, because people are busy, deck building around the bananas and trying to implement them there. It's with lots of removal, you actually crush them. Yeah.
I mean, I
had
actually
fun with Priest, though.
I actually thought the last one was more fun.
the Ragnaros versus Nefarian?
Yeah. I just thought it was more exciting.
Because it had new cars, right? Admit it.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, I guess it was like over the top challenge, because
that's probably what it was.
Yeah, and Nefarian started at 5 mana. It was ridiculous. Like, you started at 5 mana, you can kill like 2 turns later. And then Ragnaros was extremely challenging as well, because you get to play these stupidly OP cards if you only survived. Yeah, moving on away from the brawl, on Tuesday again, we got the announcement of the rosters to take part in the Archon Team League. This is the 250k tournament that we've talked about in previous episodes several times. We had the usual suspects: Celestial, Liquid, Tempo Storm, Archon, Nihilum, and Cloud9. Now, 2 teams we didn't really expect is called Value Town. This is captained by Trump and features Kibler and Dog, so all-American roster, kind of scrambled together from different players. And it does really seem like the big stream, a big personality team. And speaking of this kind of roster, we have Forsen Boys with the cancer slogan, which we won't comment here, but it has Forsen, Shaki, and Oskaka. So we all know the other 6 rosters, but what do you guys think about Violet Town and Forsen Boys, in particular about their chances in this team league?
I think they're actually going to do relatively good, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, Trump is no stranger to competitive games. He's been he was like doing a lot of the deck designs in the early part of this game when we had those first set of like tournaments that everybody was paying attention to. And the co-host of Value Town that he had with him, his
Chan
name's
Man.
eluding.
Chan
Yeah,
Man.
thank you, Chan Man. He helped him design that deck, so he knows how to build a good deck for a tournament. And we've seen him play in other tournaments, and he's done relatively okay here and there. So I think him in that group, definitely good. Some of the other choices in there, great deck builders, great innovative minds, and they're going to be that one team that everybody's going to be a little bit cautious to play against, because you're going to see maybe a couple new takes on old concepts. You might see whole new concepts coming out. I would expect them not to play your typical net decks that we normally see in every single tournament, and it's because of that little surprise off-meta play that you might actually have to value them either on par or slightly above the rest of the field.
What I personally like about this team is seeing Kibler sandwiched between two experienced Hearthstone deck builders, because I feel like Kibler is a guy who's extremely intelligent and in terms of looking at a card game, but I don't think he's found his lane in Hearthstone yet. He writes a lot about the game, he thinks a lot about the game, but when I see him going to tournaments, he doesn't really pick up the best decks necessarily. Like, sure, he would make a misplay and that might cost him a game or here, but usually I think like just that his deck choices are a poor selection. But now you're pairing him with Trump, who as you said, like, he's been on the scene forever, and Dog, who just finished second in DreamHack Sama, and again, one of the best players in North America and in the world in general. So if you actually pair Kibler, a guy has actually way more experience than both of them combined in trading card games, and then just get help by them being led into competitive Hearthstone, I think that this will be a great trio overall.
Yeah, because they've got a solid foundation in mechanics. They got a solid foundation in board state recognition, management. They should be able to do very, very well in this tournament. I would not be surprised to see them at least in making it to the semis.
Yeah, and Killer was actually captaining the NA team for Magic World Cup, right? Maybe not last year, but the year before, something like this. So he has experience in actually running a card game, trio of people.
Right.
Yeah, also, though you guys talk down net decks, Trump is a guy that's recently, especially in his choice of decks, never been afraid to play the best decks in the current metagame. Learned to play everything people come up with and all that. So I have a feeling that they might do very well off how disciplined the trio is. So
That is also a very good fact. That's a very good fact.
Speaking of discipline, the Forsen Boys does come out kind of like the opposite, right? Because Forsen is known for getting drunk and wasted on stream. Jack is the guy who constantly trash talks on Twitter or something like this, coming from the Dignitas school of Hearthstone playing, I would say. Yeah.
I mean discipline in gameplay, not discipline in actual acting.
Okay.
So I don't even. I don't think that'll be. I don't think that'll hurt them at all, to be honest. So
No, it won't hurt them at all. But again, they do have a solid foundation to where they could go either way on that. And then there's Forsen and his little ragtag crew of misfits who are, by their own right, fucking great players.
Oh, Jesus, yes. I know you're a fanboy of Osaka, like, big time. So
cheesecake for the win, motherfucker.
Yeah,
so I mean, I look at this whole lineup and it's like it reminds me so much of like every one of like major sporting leagues or federations or whatever. You'll have what's known as an all-star game. All right? And that's exactly what you got here. This is literally like the battle of the best personalities, best streamers, best everything going at it. And this was bound to happen, and this is going to be one hell of a highly rated Twitch production. If this doesn't break 100K plus, I don't know what will.
I mean, it certainly has the potential. I mean, everything's there, so they only have to not fuck it up.
Yeah, Twitch, please add in some, DDoS protection.
Right, and on Sunday, finally, we have Colento's Shaman winning Challenge Stone, which will be our first kind of main topic for the night. The unique tournament that's organized by Rania, Crip, and Tempo Storm was streamed this weekend. We had 8 players. Again, Colento won in the finals against Noxious. And the challenge was True Highlander, so players had to build 3 classes of the same deck using just 1 copy of a card across all decks. So basically you had 90 cards, go build your 3 decks. Let's start with the challenge. Do you guys prefer this to the previous one? And the previous one was like the odd mana spells, even attack mean and something like this. But this was more of a deck building challenge, I feel, because especially when I heard the challenge, like, shit, it really sounds overwhelming to compete, to make 3 decks in 30 minutes under this challenge.
I like it a lot, actually. I like it much more than the other one. just harder to do than, oh right, these numbers are different. Though I do think Kibler, if you read his article on the challenge, I think he figured that format out very well, but I don't know, I just think this one was more fun to watch and think about.
Yeah, you mean figured out the last edition or this edition?
This edition.
Okay. Stefan, what do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely like I definitely think it's actually a format we could see more of maybe in the future, but I definitely agree that it was an interesting build up, but at the same time I think the UI and the biggest challenges was definitely the UI setup of Hearthstone that didn't really fit into you couldn't see, there was massive mistakes
Yep.
of deck building. It's not very easy to see if you have already used up a card or two. So it's not like you can check one deck and see if there's any mistakes like you could with is there an even spell, is there an even attack
Yeah,
in
whatever.
the others. Like you could see by looking at one list if there was any mistakes there, but that's not something you could do here. You needed to kind of have a good overview of all your decks, and I think that's kind of what held it down a bit. There was a lot of salty dogs.
Yeah. I think there was way more mistakes than last time, just because I think it was Trump who said that the biggest challenge was actually going back and checking if you have a repeat card. Like this actually took more of your time than the actual deck building. So yeah, I definitely agree with you here. And there were like attempts on witch hunting on Reddit, which I have to admire and applaud Rania for actually killing them pretty quickly, because the first time people what was like Eloise from Tempo Storm, she had just 2 Doom Guards, and then the Reddit thread was immediately voted. People probably trying to preparing the pitchforks for another witch hunt, but luckily enough it didn't come to this. I'm so happy that we saved ourselves this witch hunt.
Oh,
Yeah,
good. A week without drama in Hearthstone.
Yeah,
Yay!
it's more boring, but some weeks it's better.
Is
than
the
it's boring.
apocalypse coming now?
I know, right? No Hearthstone drama this week.
And
Seventh Seal
the
broken.
worst
Here we
thing,
go.
the worst thing is that Eloise is real, so we cannot really, make fun of this. It's, no, the best thing would be like she has 2 Doom Guards, and then they investigate her, and then they find that she has been fake all the time, and even on a higher level than Magic Gaming. That would be some drama. That would be some drama.
Yeah.
They're like true detective shits.
There were a lot of interesting times during that guy. I did get to actually watch it, so I was happy about that. And afterwards, talking with Noxious, he's like, "Man, I misplayed all over the place there. Like some of the cards, he may not have used as much. I mean, he took Priest first of all, so right
Yeah,
there.
I was going to ask, like, was he drunk or crazy when he decided to pick Priest, or he was just like a genius in himself?
Okay, obviously you've never watched much of Noxious. Okay, Randuin
No,
wins.
I know Rando and Ren, of course.
And me
like-
and him are huge supporters of the concept of aggro priest. Like literally, we've made probably like 42 different deck designs based on the concept of aggro priest between the two of us. So yeah, those two were like natural pulls for him, and I knew like he was going to do something control and something else. But he actually was like, what should I really be thinking of making for this? Like, well, you don't know the rule sets yet. It was like, yeah, I know, but I mean, you have any suggestions? Well, not without a rule set, Without the rule set, having any preparedness for this is really difficult. And he was a little nervous at first about going into this. Like, I'm not sure how to prepare for these decks. And it's like, Nox, you're an excellent deck builder. When you put your mind to anything, you can build whatever. So he did really good. Unfortunately, he went up against the Ukrainian juggernaut, and well, we all know the end of that story.
it was a good series though. Like,
Oh yeah, it was a great series.
Yep.
But I'm just happy because one, anytime he does well, I always look better for some odd reason, and he took something that everybody says is a shit deck, is a shit class, and arguably statistically wise, they're correct. And he's like, yeah, it might be, but guess what? Look what I just did. So I think it might force people to reevaluate what they think of that class. It might force them to reevaluate their perceptions of things in the game. I doubt it, but it'd be
I don't think this
nice.
will happen. Like,
Oh, I know. I doubt it'll happen because everybody's too net deck happy. But
I
I did
mean,
like the
I don't
challenge
think
'cause
I don't
Highlander.
think you can actually make that comparison. Oh man, Nox has won a tournament. You
I
know,
know,
almost won a tournament with Priest in a special format, but nobody will care because they're all too busy net decking to play ladder. I don't think that's a comparison you can draw in any world.
I can
So-
hope. I can hope that maybe it inspires like one or two good deck builders to try something new. I can hope.
I mean, no, but you don't. Those are the good deck builders, the guys who are doing good things. And every time you see a deck in a week, it's a net deck. So I don't actually appreciate the whole. Oh, it's a net deck now. I mean, but a
Yeah,
deck
but-
builder
but-
worked
but how-
really, really hard to make that for
Yeah,
many
but then you
weeks.
see the people who take that same deck that's been out for like 2 months, they change one card, and all of a sudden it's a brand new deck. It's just a teching.
Not really. I don't really see that. That is my point.
Okay, well, to each their own.
I'm just gonna sit here watch you guys derail the thread, but you're not pursuing this further, so I'm disappointed.
No. Oh, come on! I'm not gonna create drama every week. Give me a break.
I have like a huge list of topics for future that are just reserved for when we want to irritate people and create drama. This is like I'm feeling like pissing somebody off today. Let's do this episode.
Why do I got a feeling my name is on top of that topic?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you another question about Challenge Stone. When they announced the challenge, what classes did you guys think would be good and would be bad? Steph, let's start with you. Like,
I mean, I've always been naturally biased towards Paladin because that's like my class to choice, but also because generally speaking, their problem's always been they have too many mediocre cards, or actually not mediocre, too many good cards, but they're at the 4 slots, so like you have too many choices to what to pick. Do you pick True Silver? Do you pick Blessing of Kings? Do you play Hammer of Wrath? Now you go with all at once, and I kind of just did anyone pick Paladin? Like I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
I mean,
It
to
would've
be
been
honest,
a natural
Paladin would have actually been my choice for the decks I'd build.
Okay. Why is
I was brainstorming yesterday, and I think with the power of Divine Favor and the fact that there's actually a ton of 1-drops in the game, that you can just stick into one Divine Favor Paladin deck, and then you can go with the mid-range deck that has maybe Shredder and like Spectral Knight and some mid-game creatures. And then you can go with the control list that has Equality, Consecration, Wild Pyromancer, Holy Light, Guardian of
full
Kings.
Healadin, Tyrion, stuff like this.
Yeah, pretty much. I actually ended up putting a Doomsayer in that deck as well. So I think that's something that was where I ended up with those lists.
Okay.
Personally, I looked at Warlock because Warlock is one of those classes that has so many different build designs around it, and a lot of them are very unique. Not to mention you could just go right back to the old school Murloc Warlock deck and probably get some value there. But I mean, because you can't carry 2 of, that might have hurt it a little bit. But it is probably one of the most versatile classes. But then when I started thinking about what would be the worst class to play, it would have been Priest. And then all of a sudden,
I actually thought
I was wrong.
I actually thought it was going to be Rogue, because I don't
Really?
I don't see how you can build 3 different types of Rogue in a true Highlander, because people can barely build one.
I mean, I agree actually.
Yeah, because the meta is Oil Rogue. That's the only thing that works, and it needs to draw perfectly to win, right? And then you have to build 3 rogues. Like, how do you fucking do it? Like, you have to have archetypes. So my immediate response was, okay, we need classes that are diverse in how they behave. And I thought about mage, but then I thought like, okay, maybe that's not too good, because a lot of the mage decks rely on having this stable core of cards, like to have the
Scientist.
yeah, two scientists,
Fireball,
two, yeah,
frost bolts,
yeah,
yeah.
stuff like this, and you can only use one of them across all three decks. So I didn't like mage, so I didn't like rogue, and then I didn't like priest because it's priest. But again, Noxious proving me wrong. So I remembered how Shaman won the one deck derby last week, and how we were discussing about when you can actually use a huge set of a bigger pool of cards, how Shaman becomes viable because it can easily switch archetypes and playstyle and whatnot. It's actually a very diverse class. It's
Yeah.
not a good class when you fix it into these 30 cards, but if you allow it to expand and to grow, it actually becomes good. Now, I didn't think that Shaman would do as well it did, but I'm glad that Galent was proving me right. I didn't actually think of Paladin, so again, I was thinking about Shaman and Warlock as the go-to classes. So
Isn't it funny? Like the two classes, like nobody would have normally have picked, actually
Yeah.
did the best.
yeah,
Yeah.
That
I mean,
that's
Kib-
something right there.
Kibler actually picked Mage,
yeah. Again,
and he had some interesting lists. So
he
did.
he went like one spell burst, spell aggro deck, and he went some mage stuff. Yeah, like people were saying that you can build a full secret deck, just use a mad scientist and put all the secrets. But it's a nice thing to think about and theorize, but mad scientists you can only use one, so this will only pull one secret, and what do you do with the other?
Right.
They're still overpriced as fuck, so you have to play them from your hand, and it becomes clunky.
Well, unless you have a duplicate, and then
Yeah, like you have to set up your deck for 15 turns to then to do some miracle.
Exactly.
to actually get value out of your mirror entity.
Yeah.
And what's your win con in that format with this all secret deck? I mean, because you only get one Ethereal Arcanist, so I mean,
Sure. I mean, you can.
what's your win con?
I mean, just Echo Giants just stripped in half. Like,
That is true.
I guess
You can only play one Molten and one Echo. That's
Yeah.
kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it becomes two Moltens and stuff.
But you still don't have the second Echo. I think that's a problem.
Exactly.
Oh wait, no, you play Chromagus. To block Echo.
We solved through a Highlander. Time to move on. We solved.
And then you
Highlander's
Molt Giant.
an amazing format, though. I mean,
Yeah,
I've
I
been
agree.
advocating for this format for so long. Like, I coming from Magic, we had like multiple different formats, and then there was like 2 accepted tournament formats. Well, not including any kind of sealed deck or any of that other fun stuff. But we had 2 basic tournament formats, and here in Hearthstone we have one. Oh, don't even try to say Conquest and Last Hero Standing are different.
No. I'm
It's
not
still
going
same
to
deck
say.
design.
Yes.
But I mean, it gave more life to possible competitive tournaments, and I want to see this actually grow more. I don't want this to be like a one and done thing. I'd like to actually see more of these tournaments out there. And I know a lot of people actually really got some hype about this, and I think somebody who makes like a series based on this could actually do pretty well with it. Because, your newer players could get into it because, well, they have almost the equal of chance. When you're talking about a 1 in 30 of pulling that card you need versus, 1 in 15, that changes a lot of things.
Agreed. So we actually the last time we discussed Challenge Stone, I think almost unanimously voted for Highlander, and then we got Highlander. So if we assume that we have the power to make challenges happen, let's think about what we want to see in Challenge Stone 3, because there will be Challenge Stone 3, 100%. So, Stefan, what do you want to see from Challenge Stone 3 in terms of deck building?
I don't really know. Like it's like I wouldn't know. Like the rule, like the different. Like we've seen the first one, which was just completely random set of rules, and then we have the more traditional tournament formats, which I've also seen before. So I'll be honest, I have no clue. Like maybe I don't know, Naxxramas and DVD cards only on BlackRock,
Okay.
maybe. I don't fucking know. Like,
Christian?
One deck format. I think I want to see more of that.
Okay, just one deck, like 10
Yeah.
card sideboard, something like this, like the one deck derby.
Something like that, yeah. I just want to see more experimentation with one deck formats. I understand why Hearthstone want to push all the classes, but at the same time, I really enjoyed the one deck derby and would like to see that, basically.
Chief, what about you?
No death rattle.
No death rattle. Okay.
I want to see a tournament of no death rattle.
Actually,
I
Yeah.
think that could be interesting.
yeah. Somebody in our comments when we wrote about Colento winning said, okay, no battle cries, but that's a lot of cards. But maybe it can work. Maybe it can work.
Yeah.
I think Rogue would win a tournament with no battle cries, since all of the cards you'd think are battle cry in Rogue are actually combo.
And people said the same thing about Druid, because choose.
Oh,
ones-
right, they're
'cause
choose one.
Choose ones.
Mhm.
Are not battle cries. So yeah, two classes winning the battle cry thing.
Or how about this? Only the mighty. Only minions you could play are 5 cost or higher.
And Big Game Hunter is banned.
And Big Game Hunter is banned. And I'll tell you, the class that wins that every single time is Druid, unfortunately.
Why?
Really?
Well,
now?
unless you automatically ban Wild Growth, Nourish, Grove Tender, and
No, I think actually Paladin
Innervate.
can beat this.
Or just Warrior with removal.
World
Yeah.
Center would be banned.
What?
Sorry, that was a response to the only the mighty. With
Yeah, but it's about creatures, not spells. So
So it could be, well, I mean, you'd have to do something special for the spells, because if you give unlimited spells on there, then there gets a little bit of trickiness. You know,
then it can still play Patron.
right, exactly. So I
no,
think
you cannot play Patron because Warsong Commander. And
Yeah, but you can still
Flooding
play. You can
Wizard.
still play Warsong Commander. No, you can still play Patron of the Warsong.
Yeah,
It's just worse. But when all the other decks suck too.
you cannot play.
no piloted Shredder.
Yeah, you cannot play Paladin. Nah, fuck Paladin.
Wait,
Shredder.
what exactly are the rules for only the mighty? I'm sorry, isn't it
Five,
minions?
five mana and up.
5 or higher, but
For-
I gotta
oh,
figure something for the spells.
what would
Okay.
stop handlock?
Nothing stops it in luck other than
Right.
Twilight Drake being gone. And hold on, Twilight Drake wouldn't be there. Sun Fury Protector wouldn't be there. Defender of Argus wouldn't be there.
Mountain Giant wouldn't be there.
I actually think like
No, Mountain Giant's over 5.
I'm aware of the fact. In handlock, it's usually cheaper than that.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. I actually want to see like somebody long time ago suggested about something completely unrelated to Challenge Stone, that you build your opponent's decks. But
That would be interesting.
yeah, this will be all in the sphere of goofiness. But again,
Or better yet, just complete RNG man mode. Like, as they're getting it set for the battle, they build the decks right there.
oh, this
Let
will
the
this will
computer
be-
build it. And
This will be
play it.
stupid. This will be stupid.
It would
Oh,
be awesome.
I've done backdraft in Hearthstone, which is what Nigel was referring to with the you make your opponent's deck in the way that you go to the innkeeper and you're communicating with the other person, and he tells you which cards the innkeeper suggests, and you pick one of them.
All right. Huh.
That's interesting.
So
Okay.
then you keep going with that.
Oh man,
So-
this is awesome.
Build a
This
30
is
card
actually
deck.
kinda cool.
It's great fun.
Nice. nice.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's great. Guys should try that out.
We should try that out. Challenge.
Oh,
should try
God,
this
yeah.
out. Nadia?
Just get NA accounts, you bastards.
Wow. Anyways, moving on.
You don't need any accounts. Everyone has terrible cards anyway. It's even better if you have all the cards, you have a disadvantage because you have all the bad commons.
True.
Anyways, moving away from Challenge Town into our main topic of the day. So this will be dedicated to custom card design. Now, as you might know, we're running a monthly card design contest where people can just submit ideas of their own, and we rank them. Then the community votes on them, and then the winner gets prizes from us. We're giving stuff like Hearthstone pillows, Hearthstone mugs, cool stuff overall. So, and we've the last one was just the team was designing card bags, but this we didn't get a lot of submissions, so we didn't make an innervated show about it. But now that we actually have a proper card design team, we got quite a few submissions. We figured, well, hey, why not bring back the show discussion on the card design. So this month the challenge was you need to build an early game legendary, which means a legendary card of any type between 0 and 3 mana. So you could not only design creatures, but you could design weapons, even spells. Even though I myself am opponent of legendary spells, we figured, okay, you guys can do whatever you want. Before we actually go into the card design reviews and just see some of the good cards, some of the bad cards, I just want to ask you this question to you guys, because I know you're either experienced card designers or experienced card game players. When you hear this challenge, what type of cards do you want to see? What type of legendary cards between 0 and 3 mana are good? Because there are a lot of examples of good and bad early game legendaries in Hearthstone, and it's more towards the latter. More are shit. I think the only good early game legendary is Talnos right now, because I actually watched them because I wanted to give them an example in an article, and like, okay, we have Nutpagle, Lore Worker Show, Thinkmaster. Those are fucking shit cards, and then there's Talnos,
but they weren't always. That's the thing. Blizzard just got sick and tired of seeing them. They were auto includes in so many damn decks that they had to be there.
Exactly. So what do you want from a balanced and playable and cool and fun early game legendary? Stefan, let's start with you, because you design a shitload of cards and you've actually submitted stuff to the contest before.
I definitely say it. Like, we say early game legendary, but it can't be a card that just has early game utility, because first of all, it's always going to have too much utility because of the legendary bonus, and second of all, because it's a legendary, you're not going to be reliably drawing it as often as, say, a card you'd include too often.
Yep.
So, Talnos is good because when you play it with your spare 2 mana on turn 6, you actually still get a draw, which is awesome. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I would say should be the defining factor for an early game legendary. Like, it's need to be usable on
let's
turn
call it
8.
cheap legendary, because early game legendary might be a bit misleading, because it implies that if you play it in late game it sucks, and it's not the idea that it sucks in the late game.
But I mean, you look at some of these legendaries that we have now in the game, like Lore Walker Cho. All right, now that could lead to some really hilarious moments, as we've seen in previous tournaments, but nobody actually takes it because, well, they don't want to ever give any advantage to your opponents. But when you get it off of Piloted Shredder, then you start thinking, I just locked my opponent down from doing anything. Like a Lore Walker Cho on the board against, say, Oil Rogue, that's a horrible situation. Unless you're a mage and you don't have a weapon, then you're kind of screwed either way. But you can do some hilarity with that. And Lore Walker Cho it's a fun concept card, but in all honesty, I don't see it as any kind of valuable competitive thing. And that's the thing. A lot of those early cards now, thanks to nerfing, are only good for a kind of like interesting, what if fun scenarios, but their value and competitiveness, not so much.
I mean, honestly, that's actually about 90% of the legendaries in the game. Because they're meant to be splashy, right? They're meant to be fun and have a cool effect.
No, yeah, you're right.
If you didn't see Dr. Boom every turn, and you'd maybe see him, let's see, it was way worse, then you'd maybe laugh at what the Boombots did. You wouldn't just groan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I still remember before that card was actually in play where we could use it, we all thought, oh, maybe the bombs explode because of what it said on there.
Yeah.
And then everybody thought it was a crap card because of that. And then all of a sudden we discovered, hey, this has a potential of being 15 damage. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess, like, I go back to the Talnos idea, and, I've always been a fan of simple and elegant designs, like nothing too flashy, nothing that requires you to write 5 rows of wording to explain what the cards do. Like, this is why I love Talnos, because it's simple. It's spell damage on the board, and he draws a card when he dies. I don't like Lore Worker Show not because it locks down or with its effect, it's just because it's too gimmicky. For example, I don't like
Exactly.
this. I don't like gimmicky stuff. Like, especially in competitive Hearthstone, there's no place for gimmicks. Um,
You filthy hardcore.
yeah, well, come on, well, play me. So let's play a design game ourselves, like just a small one over, on the top. Nothing like, okay, 3 mana did this thing. Like, think of an effect or a number of effects you want to see on an early game legendary, that you want to see in the game, and just tell it to us. Let's again start with Stefan.
Well, I actually had a design running for way back before even the thing. It was called Highborn Soul Mirror, and it was basically a 0/2 that with taunt, and whenever it was attacked, it would copy the minion it was attacked by. So if it was attacked by a weapon or a spell, tough lock. But it was a 1 mana 0/2 that taunt, whenever it was attacked, it would copy the minion that attacked it. And the attack would still go through.
All right. Well, what happens if it survives? Does it go back to being 0/1?
No, it just if it say it was attacked by
Like a 2/5, it wouldn't die.
yeah, it wouldn't die, so it would just be then like it's just like Faceless Manipulator. Like it would just be the 2/5s would then battle, and then you would have 2/3s.
Okay. All right. Christian.
Tough one actually. Cycling utility, same as an early minion, really, but
Better.
yeah, if it's better, I mean, a minion I put in my deck. I mean, honestly, what I would want is just a Leper Gnome that deals 3 damage.
We have this in the design contest.
Yeah, but it needs to be better. Why isn't it like a 2-mana 3/1 that deals 3 damage?
I don't know, man.
Cancer confirmed. Cancer confirmed.
Hey, he smokes Strifecrow 3-0 in like 15 minutes. He
Oh
is allowed to cherish the smoke. What about?
I did that. I beat him before dinner, man. It was pretty great.
Chip, what about you?
See, all right. I have a different way of looking at some stuff. If I'm talking about like a design here, and I don't have a particular name for a legendary for this, but
whatever.
I would look for something like the 3 mana 2/4 must be attacked. I.e., you cannot attack around it. You have to attack this. That's a really powerful ability. It locks down a lot of aggro. All right, you put that up against any of these
But
like face
that's
rush.
basically taunt.
It is a taunt, yes, but not being a taunt. Thus, you can't get rid of it with, say,
Black Knight or
Black Knight. And to add just a little bit more flavor to it, oh, by the way, it's got the same ability as Fairy Dragon.
all right. Okay.
It would still be silenced.
It can still be silenced. Yes, that's you always have to leave a simple way out of it. That's the thing. You can't make something so OP that everybody's going to take it, or else you end up getting homogenized cards throughout every single deck, and you don't ever want that. But I try to stay away from anything that's got any complex battle cry system, because if there's too many words on the card,
Yeah,
it's pretty bad. You look at Magic the Gathering, my God, you have to get the reading glasses out to read some of this shit now, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Is
especially
just
in
as
old
bad.
designs.
Yu-Gi-Oh is terrible. Like
Oh my God, it's like reading a
basically
novel.
Yu-Gi-Oh justifies a pacing system for card games. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, like they need to just put like a barcode and sell barcode readers. All you have to do is swipe it, and then it comes up on a bigger screen.
All right.
Oh yeah, I used to play that game, and then I see the new cards, and I'm just like, I just start squinting. What does it say on here? And why does it have 2 halves?
I used to have perfect vision before Yu-Gi-Oh!
Like
Sometimes there were cards that I would wonder if they were fake because the text was so small.
It literally looks just like
And-
a bunch of dots on there. Then you hold it up closer, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, some again the Twitch chat saying we want cards that have taunt for spells. Basically, it has to be burned before they can actually burn your face. And that's a pretty cool idea.
It's a cool idea, and it's been around since like the days of CBT. People have been asking for that, and to be honest with you, you might see 1 or 2 of those introduced to the game, but I doubt Blizzard really wants to do that yet.
Yeah. I actually want to see something that
It's
does.
just harder to explain than taunt, though. It's not an intuitive mechanic.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, they'd have to create a whole separate like identifier on there, like you know taunt this, that, and the other, and at that point you actually have to explain the identifier. Taunt you understand.
Also, what's
yeah.
the flavor connotations there? Does Jaina or whatever, for example, does she just get angry at the minions? Like I
No,
must burn the minion
it's
with.
like a magnet for spells. It's you can easily put it into lore. I don't think that's the issue. It's just like you cast a fireball, but then this magnet or whatever just absorbs it, something like this. I don't know.
I think that'd have to be like Kel'Thas's ability if he ever comes into the game.
Yeah, yeah. I actually want to see something like that does something on Battle Cry and Death Rattle at the same, kind of like cheap Toshli, but maybe not for spare parts. Just a random effect repeated on Battle Cry and Death Rattle. Kind of let's say like a Leopard Gnome, but that duplicates its effect on Battle Cry and Death Rattle, or Loot Hole or something like this.
Hi, 2 mana. Boom,
No,
you
I'm
take
not saying
two,
it's
boom, you
it's
take
2
another
mana
2.
or it's the same stats. It can be like 3 mana that draws you that deals damage or something like this. Again,
I know Rexar somewhere over there making you say this.
yeah, Christian is paying me shit ton of money to promote smorking. Smorking card designs. Anyways, we actually gonna look at cards, believe it or not, and we're going to review 10, I believe, and just starting about with cards that people rank differently and people cards that people ranked unanimously low or unanimously high, and we're just gonna discuss why that's the case. So let me just start putting them on the screen. So the first card is a card that Christian ranked quite high, and nobody else did, and now we're going to ask him why.
Criticizing my personal decisions as usual.
Yes, of course. This is why I bring you here. Let me
Yep.
just. Okay, so that's the one, and I'm going to. Wait, where did it go? Stupid OBS piece of shit. Okay, sorry guys. Risks of the live show. Okay. Let's see if now this works. There it is. Now we're just gonna move it around in the center. So we have Exarch Othar.
Yeah.
And what Exarch Othar says, and I will. And now if it loads, so it has stealth. It's 3 mana, 0/3 demon, stealth, battle cry. Give control of this minion to your opponent. At the start of your turn, summon a 4/3 succubus for your opponent. So essentially, you giving your opponent a 0/3 stealth that he cannot, interact with it. It cannot attack or whatever, and then it starts generating for yourself 3/3 succubus until he's killed. So I can tell you why I voted this low myself. I just looked at it and thought that this is stupidly OP, like it's beyond broken. So
There's a slight
how is
mechanic
this-
flaw to this too.
so it's broken because you cannot really get rid of it easily.
No, but you can kill it with your own spells, for example.
Yes,
How-
because it's your stealth minion. You can
Yeah.
interact with it. Your opponent cannot. But there's a bigger flaw to this, and if I'm remembering sequencing right, Battlecry happens before a minion is ever on the board. So how does it work to send itself
So
over when it does not exist on the board?
You will at least get 1/4 succubus. You will at least get even if you kill it, and some classes cannot kill it. Like for example, you give it to paladin, and a lot of paladins don't run damage spells. So what does this guy do? Like he has to equality pyromancer his own board to kill it.
No, I understand why you'd think it was overpowered. I just thought it was a cool, like, interesting design.
All right, Chips.
Stealth
That's why I voted it.
The
That's why I
stealth doesn't
voted.
really make sense, though. Like, why would you wanna? Like, it only prevents you as the one who played it from doing anything to it. And why would you want to do that anyway? I don't really.
No,
get that.
no, I'll explain. Would an Exarch that was summoning succubi for its enemies, or would a like Exarch that was hiding out summoning succubi for its opponents hide in plain view? No, he would be hiding. So
But he is hiding from his contractors.
Okay. Chiv, what do you think of the card personally? Because you were not a part of the voting group, so you're like the neutral third party that just reviews the.
Yeah. And I get a lot of these submissions to my own personal email. It's like, hey, I came up with this card. Normally there's like a My Little Pony for the picture, but I wish I was joking on that. I really do.
Hey, we got Stonehenge, but
Oh God. Okay,
that was a
so
good one.
okay, so here's the thing. Battle Cry. Battle cries happen before a minion ever actually hits the board, before a secret actually goes off too. So how is it transferring itself when it's not on the board? That's my first problem I have with this card.
We're asking about design choices, not the specifics of the behavior.
I was asked what I thought about the card, and I'm being honest here. Other than that, giving your opponent a 4/3 when that opponent is basically you, that's value all day long. There's too much value in this fucking card. My God. And to answer your question, Blessing of Might exists. Not Aldor Peacekeeper. Crazed Alchemist exists. There are a lot of things that a Paladin can take to actually enable this guy to be offensive, to trade off and get rid of it. So there are methods.
None of those cards are played anywhere, like in traditional Paladin decks, at least in the current meta.
Right. And now, but the cool thing here is in any kind of thing that's running mech, you have a possibility of getting rid of this with a simple reversing switch.
Yeah.
You can time rewind it. And
that is true. You do
massively.
All right.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it does have a lot of downsides to it. But overall, I think its power is a little too high. And in a pinch, the Warlock can, if it ever comes out of stealth, the Warlock can just go, oh, well, that's cute. Thank you for the 5 life, and I guess I'll just keep my couple 4/3s I got from it. So they'll sack pack their own demon there. But I don't know. In terms of balance, this is OP even for me. And if you've ever watched our show, we make some pretty OP fucking shit. But this is a little OP to me. I would rate this card like a 5.
Okay. I'm moving on to the next.
I don't actually remember what I gave it.
You gave it an 8.
I gave it an 8. That's a really high grade. Well, okay.
Yeah.
So again,
must have been a good mood that day.
The next card that I'm gonna bring up kind of ties to our previous discussion in the last episode about Overload and how we need to revisit it maybe and make it more useful. So again, this is a card that Christian ranked low, but it's actually in the top 20. So here it is, fucking Murky. And Murky is a 2-mana 2/2 on Battlecry, gain +1/+1 for each overloaded mana this turn. I remember when we released it in our top 20 voting post, people said that, well, this can actually fix Shaman, or at least make it better and introduce sense to the mechanic. That we agreed last episode that it might be a bit let's see, what's the word I need?
Punishing?
No. The mechanic has grown a bit old and
it's outdated.
Outdated, yes. That's thank you, yeah. So why didn't you like Murky? Except that I don't know. It's a Murloc. Weren't you the guy that loves Murlocs and everything that has to do with them?
No. I the thing is, okay.
Or was it Alex in our chat? I think it was Alex.
I think that's actually Alex, not me. I've never said much about Murlocs, but I don't actually like this for flavor reasons. But the card is really cool. But I don't see how it has anything to do with Murky. It can be a Murloc Shaman or something, that could be really cool. But why is it Murky? He's just a little dorky Murloc warrior.
So you punish this card just for low reasons.
No, there's more. I thought it was a bit awkward, but I like it more. That I think about it more, but
people saying this needs charge. Yeah, but it doesn't need charge.
that's why I rated it low. Of course, it needs.
Yeah, charge. That would be pretty.
Yeah,
awesome.
And then it needs to overload your mana, right? That this would be a really cool card and balanced.
Oh man, if it overloaded you for 1, so next turn you could play another one, and it would get the overload value.
How can you play another one? It's a legendary.
Right, sorry.
Okay. I can tell I love this card. I think I rated it pretty okay. It's in the top 20, so your stupid reasons did not affect its chances.
Yeah.
People, I don't know how the vote is going. Again, everything we bring up here is not indicative of its position in the voting or anything like this. I just pick cards that, you know, abide to some voting standards I decided to choose for the show. But what do you guys think about Murky overall?
He's not bad. In all honesty, he's not. Like the other week, me and Nux did our own little take on shamans and all that. We actually did add a Murloc that interacted with Overload, but rather than giving more stats to itself, he just summoned out Puddle Stompers because, well, you can't give too much value to Murlocs for some odd reason.
Well, that's cool, actually.
Yeah, it is. It was a 3-mana, 3/3 legendary. King Begurgle.
We actually had a King
Yeah.
Begurgle in our own
Yeah, and
competition.
I think it's actually way high. Or at
He's
least-
crushing
Really?
the competition at
Yeah.
this point.
I
Nice.
mean, it helps that his picture is like 3 times the size of all the others on the submission page.
Well, hold on. He doesn't look anything like this, does he?
like this. Let's
Go to the far right.
no.
Oh no, he's not close.
Okay, good.
This is actually a good card. Anyways,
Are you gonna start filing for copyright claims, Shiv?
How am I going to file for copyright when I'm using everything that Blizzard owns?
I know.
this is going to be a complicated trial.
Exactly. You know, I'd be shooting myself in the face. No.
Stefan, your thoughts on Murky here before we move on to your grading and whatnot?
I think it's an alright card. Like, it's definitely something that could spice up Shaman's Overload. But I'm not really sure on the Shaman Murloc theme. It doesn't really, like, I don't know. Thrall's never been a big into Murloc. He's kind of more Horde than that. So, I don't know. It's a weird mix.
Okay. Bringing up another card, and this one is one that you, Stefan, ranked rather high, and everybody else kind of didn't. And it's the Red Baron. Personally, I actually featured this in one of the submission posts I did on the contest because I just love what it says. So it's a 2-mana, 2/4 beast, and it simply reads, "This minion's action is decided by itself instead of the player." Now, I loved what it suggests. I couldn't, visualize how this is actually going to be carried out in the clan. When does this, taking decision happen? Like, is it at the start of the turn? Is it when you just click it for the first time? Something like this. So I had problem with the wording myself, but I thought it's at least a cool concept. Just a minion that does its own thing. So why did you like it yourself?
It's true that it's hard to envisionize, and at the same time, it's also it's not particularly easy to understand. But I don't think that necessarily I don't think it needs to be that easy to understand because you're not in control of it. Like, yes, it does its own thing, and you'll figure out when it's going to do its own thing. Like, is it whenever you have an action, like playing a card, or will it follow up an attack? I don't bloody know, but I wouldn't need to know. Like, I mean, will it just attack once whenever a random interaction? I don't know. Like, I don't need to know because I can't react to it. It's a good drawback. I like it a lot, actually.
This is almost like a card that, let's say, costs 4 mana, and when it dies, it does, some whatever it wants to do, like drop a 2-mana minion or something. This sounds like this level of coolness.
Actually, I can kind of see how this would work. I really can. All right, so you play this out, right? Now it's your next turn. You can attack with it, right? Okay, so you go to attack with it. Let's say you try to go face, but there's a minion on the board. It decides, no, I'm not going face. I'm going to kill the minion. Or you go to attack with it, and it growls at you like, no, I am not doing anything.
Okay.
All right. I think you have to visualize and
have
full-on audio.
Does it trigger? Does it trigger when you like, let's say, initial an attack, or because I see maybe like the full randomness and the full lore of these cards would be like the turn begins, okay, and at any point of time after any random animation ending, the Red Baron decides to do his own thing. Now, let's say he can attack right at the start of the turn anywhere. It
Right.
might be like you will draw 2 cards, and then he will attack. Just at random point, he decides to do something random and basically interrupt the flow of your turn.
That could be true. That could be very true. Which is why, I look at this, I play it on curve turn 2. Turn 3, if I've got the coin, I'm definitely putting Houndmaster on it and like, okay, you're gonna do your own thing. I'm at least gonna get a taunt out of it.
Yeah, and it's gonna be like a 4/6, so whatever it does, it's value, right?
Exactly. All right, so I would actually rate this card about a 7. It's a little interesting. I mean, you look at the stats; those are some pretty great stats for 2. So it's gonna have to have some kind of drawback mechanic, and not really having control of your minion is a pretty damn big drawback.
It's still a good value, I think. Like
It is a
mana-
huge value. It's huge, and it's a beast, which yeah, Rexar didn't have enough toys.
Okay.
This
I'm not-
card would be great in Face Hunter.
I love
Like,
this card.
honest.
Oh,
it's mid-range.
is it why you gave it a 9? You
Oh,
gave
Did
it
I?
you gave it a fucking 9 just because it's great in face control.
No, no.
Oh god.
Answer confirmed.
Oh god. Oh
I
I
god.
just
Hey,
mean
man.
it would be better than Haunted Creeper and Face Hunter, right? So, I actually just love this design. I didn't actually talk much about it, but I really appreciated it. So
Okay, yeah, apparently you gave it a fucking 9.
9 is it's a pretty good score.
apparently. Okay, so putting
You didn't bring up me giving this a good score. You decided to focus on me giving Murky a bad score and the Exarch a good one.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta pick up cards. So, anyways, Stefan, this is something you rank low. A lot of people rank high though on our committee, and it's Cookie's steering rod while we're on the subject of Murlocs. So it's a 2 mana weapon, 2/3. Your Murlocs have +1/+1 in charge. That rod will give your Murlocs +1 health. So apart from being stupid OP in Murloc decks, what is it that you don't like it?
Stupid OP in general. Like, I mean, already we're dealing with a neutral 2/3 weapon when the class version of this weapon has Overload 1. So, and
Yeah,
that's
but it's legendary, so okay.
yeah, but and before that's before we even talk about a weapon that gives a default +1/+1 without actually any charges or anything. This will buff. This is just a steady buff, and it'll give charge, which basically makes face locks a thing. So yeah,
The same reason why this is bad is the same reason why the original Unleash the Hound Hunter was bad.
Okay, I see you guys.
yeah,
This
Like,
is so nightmare.
yeah.
But I like the idea behind it, but no.
Nope, nope.
Okay. Moving on to another card, and we're gonna start a bit in the low ranks, where cards that are generally ranked low by all of us. It was, let's see, 9 people actually voted on these cards from our crew, so kind of like a diverse taste in rankings. So let me put this up. This is Rathion. We've had a lot of Rathion submissions in the past, and I kind of know why you guys didn't like this one. So it's a 3 mana 4/4. At the end of each turn, player's turn, they randomly discard a card. So I know why this is hated. First of all, 3 mana 4/4 is value right there, okay? Which means it's great in face counter because they don't discard a lot of cards. But the main reason I think is
Oh, this card would be terrible in Face Hunter.
Why?
It's a 3 mana minion that doesn't
Have
immediately
charge.
attack the board.
It doesn't
Yeah,
have charge.
Yeah, that is the answer.
Okay,
not to mention the fact it's a rogue color scheme.
all right, it's a rock card scheme. Never mind.
Yeah,
the
but
fact-
Nigel brought a Face Hunter.
Yeah. Anyways, so at the end of each turn, each player discards a card, and this is, I think, the biggest issue with the card because Hearthstone has been going against hand disruption of any kind.
Yeah,
as long as
that's-
as long as it lives. So I know that when I saw it, like, okay, it's against the lore of Hearthstone, and I'm not against trying to do something different with a card design, but people have said that designers have said we don't want any form of hand disruption, so this is something that will never make it into the game. Like maybe even OP cards have future in the game, because eventually the power creep will catch up to where they are now. But this is a straight up hand disruption. I don't think anybody likes like, oh, at the end of my turn, oh, I discard my important card, like, oh, my combo is gone. And
I don't think necessarily this card is broken even by today's standard. I despise to discard any kind of discard with a vengeance. But if we look at it from an less you get to be by playing this card, you get to be the first to discard a card, if I understand it correctly. So you play this, and then you're the first to discard it, and then if your opponent kills this minion immediately, then they don't lose anything. So from a stat perspective, its 4/4 stats are not necessarily overshot. Like, there's potential for drawback here. But yeah, I hate this card, so I trashed it. But
yeah, this card is very punishing, like he was saying. So this gets played out, you lose a card. I'm a mage. I flame cannon this. I don't lose anything. So you lost 2 cards out of your hand, and I used 1.
Yep.
That was 1 mana cheaper, which means I'm probably gonna be able to put in either another minion on the board, which you won't, or just use a hero power, hit you in the face.
Yeah, and
so no, this is just bad.
Yeah, and again, like I was thinking, like, okay, sure, if you kill it, that's a potential drawback. But if you don't, what happens to the handlock that cannot remove it or silence it, like right this turn, and then loses a giant.
Yeah, like in a rogue
for 3 mana, you've just killed the giant.
Yeah, you have. In all honesty, in a rogue deck, because they can conceal, that gives this a little bit more value, and it fucks up so much gameplay, though. I don't like it. It's like, it is the anti of everything I expect, and Hearthstone, it creeps me out. It's like, I gotta stop looking at it.
Alright. Okay, putting up another card. Let's see, this one. So this one, we also ranked quite low, which I didn't actually expect. It's Fandral Stackhelm, which says it's a 3 mana 2/4 creature. Make your opponent's hand visible. That's all it does. That's all it does. I didn't expect it to be in the top 20 because it's a powerful effect, but I didn't expect it to be in the bottom 5 of rankings.
This is an old Magic the Gathering concept.
Of course,
we used to have this back in the day where you had to play with your hand up.
Yeah,
oh my god, I love it.
Yeah, no, but it's also, that wasn't specifically this card, so.
Oh, I know that, but I mean, it's the base mechanic. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, so that's kind of cool. I like it. That can give you a lot of intel on your on what your opponent's playing. Like, if I'm a druid and I'm facing up against a warlock, I'm gonna want to know as quickly as possible what kind of warlock I'm playing, right? So I might actually innervate this guy out.
Well, he is a druid he is an old druid in lore, so I mean that might
does
just
kind of fit. Yeah, but I mean,
yeah, I mean, I just found it very bland. Like, it has very bad stats for its cost, and generally speaking, like, this kind of information is not helpful if you've already lost by obtaining it. Like, so that's basically what I found. Like, I just found it bad. Like,
yeah.
Oh, it is.
Where do you draw the line between bland and simple, Stefan? I'd like to know.
Well, I would say when it's something that I myself have thrown on a common card in the past, but that's for another line. Basically, like, this is like, it's just, it doesn't have any impact on the game itself. Like, it's just like, I don't know.
It doesn't have an immediate impact on board state, and I will give you that. But what it does is it gives you information, and information,
Yeah,
like
and
you know,
why
you're
would-
always trying to play around something or other. So if you know that your opponent doesn't have this in your hand, then you can do the statistical math of okay, he only has this card, the amount of base property or probability of him pulling that card he needed to counter that is going to be such and such. So that might allow you to play certain other plays afterwards. Intel is so big in these games.
I actually love it. I love it because you can play it in the late game as well and gain information, you know, in the critical stages of the game. Just like Lothep can lock, you know, a combo out. This can actually scout a combo. Like, okay, do I need to be scared of dying? You scout your druid, and oh, he has neither Force of Nature nor Savage Roar, so I'm not scared of, you know, immediately dying if he draws one of the two. So I can maybe make some more greedy plays, something like this, and you know, again, it's a card that keeps its value, you know, across all the game. Like, it's not the best design ever, so, but it's cool. You know, I think I gave it a 5 or 6, something like this, because it's, you know, it's not trash, it's not fantastic, it's not the best card ever designed in history of card design, but I kind of like it, even though it doesn't impact the board. It maybe doesn't read like a legendary as much.
Right.
It's also an effect that doesn't impact the board immediately isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly,
I'm not saying
If there's a powerful effect that doesn't impact the board, I think that's probably better for Hearthstone than not, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
I agree. I definitely agree. This is kind of like that same kind of gimmick, like on the level-wise. Not the exact same type of thing, but like level-wise of gimmick as like Nose Domu. All right, it doesn't really affect you unless you're really slow at playing this game. So, I mean, this might actually be, and I'm going to say this might actually be a little broken because having that information can definitely change a thing. But on the other side, your opponent knows what you have too, so...
Okay. Putting up another card.
I want to say, like, when I had a similar card when I designed an adventure back in the day that was called The Depths of Blackrock. Yeah, I know. But and that was actually called one of the most broken cards in the set, which I found ludicrous because I had Hover 2.0 on the same page. But I think people overestimate information a lot.
Information is just as powerful as the user.
when you can't react to it, and at that point when you're playing it, there's actually very like from a druid maybe, but there's still very limited options for how you can react for it. Like if you play this, say a priest, and you play it against a warlock, you get to see that you are massively screwed because he's a handlock and you're about to get owned.
Yeah, sure, but think about it. Like, let's say if you play it early, you can actually scout for most of the board sweepers because they come on turn 4 and on turn 5. So in the same example, you're playing against a warlock and you drop in and you see like a hellfire, like okay, I don't want to populate the board any further. It's let's say on turn 4, but if you don't see hellfire or shadow flame or something like this, like okay, I can go crazy now. And you know, if you're playing something like a fast mid range, you can just empty your hand, and then unless the guy top decks like a motherfucker, you're kind of safe, and maybe you have the opportunity to win the game there and then.
If that legendary actually was a beast, I guarantee you every hunter would play it just so that people know you're fucked.
About though information, you say it's not valuable, but it's so much more valuable depending on who you are. If you're Colento, this is your favorite Hearthstone card. You know, if the better of a Hearthstone player you are,
it's a stream snipe without a stream snipe.
Yeah, of course it is.
Host's favorite card.
Oh shit!
all right.
Beating that dead horse.
Not enough.
Yeah.
You know, the best thing about a dead horse is it cannot really actually run away. You can just flog him.
How can stream sniping be real if our eyes aren't real?
Oh man, you know Jaden Smith is no longer on Twitter. I'm just so sad. Like how am I going to learn about the world now? If we lost so much quality. But anyways, moving on. I think this card is one of the, at least maybe not the best, but at least one of the more interesting ones.
It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, so putting up another card, and you guys will fucking hate it, Chief, you too. So, Bronson Great Whisker. Restore the amount of health equal to the number of turns you have ended to your hero. Now, I can tell you, Chief, because you know this is the first time you probably see this card, but when we were reviewing it in our chat, and nobody knew when the restoring is happening. Is it every turn? Is it on a battle cry? Is it at the end of your turn? How does it fucking like? Does it repeat itself on each turn? Like we couldn't figure it out.
Because it doesn't say battle cry, it would be every turn.
If it was every turn, it would say every turn.
You would think.
Why?
There's a lot of aura. Okay, normally there's aura effects or repeating effects, and they don't say every turn on them.
No, in Hearthstone they do.
Yeah.
No.
Are you sure about that?
I am. Like, okay, let's.
I'm gonna go look right now. Like two things that are coming to mind. Keep talking, but actually, I do like the card. If it's a one-time effect, then I definitely like it.
Yeah.
If it's a multi-effect,
no, because this is why we couldn't. Like, if it's a battle cry or death roll, like a one-time effect or a two-time effect, even this would be okay. Like. You can keep it in your hand and play it late game, and you know maybe on turn 10 it restores 10 health. Even though it's like a 3 mana 2/4, it kind of doesn't really help you beyond this. It's kind of like a bigger heal bot maybe. But you know to be heal bot, it actually has to. You have to end like 8 turns. So it indicates that it might not be a battle cry effect because it's already weaker than heal bot straight up. So. It may suggest that it's repeated effect, and then it becomes broken.
No, you're absolutely correct, because it'll always say at the start of or at end of. Like I just went and looked up like 12 different minions, and they all came up the same.
Yeah.
So because it's only a one and done effect, you'll never play it on curve. It's an off curve play. Yeah. Though at that point, is it better than Antique Healbot, which is 2 mana more?
I don't think you care about 2 mana more in Healbot, honestly.
Yeah.
The problem is not knowing when the heal happens, I think.
Yeah. Okay, what? Because again, we don't know what's up with this card, and this is why we trashed it. But what would make it a good card? Let's just add the thing that's missing to the wording.
If it was an end of turn effect.
Okay, at the end of every turn?
Yeah. No, your turns.
Okay. Alright. You think that would make it good, like a repeated effect?
It'd be a really, really good card.
Alright. But not broken.
No, but it would be a very strong incentive. It's an early game card that also is late game utility.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I mean, this would definitely... I would hold on to this late game so much because Loetheb locks down Lay on Hands, right? Loetheb, don't lock this down.
It's also just 3 mana.
Exactly.
Which is pretty huge.
I mean, I'd be seriously concerned about mill decks. Like, I mean, you go with Mill Druid, and they play this on turn like 17, and you know.
Yeah, but if you're on turn 17 against Mill Druid, you've lost the game already in most cases.
Right.
But like, let's go with turn 12 then. Like, they play this, and then like
hell the back.
Slightly bigger heal bot. Oh no.
Yeah. I mean, I would be more happy if this was a Paladin only exclusive. To be perfectly honest,
it is like it's not. It's not.
Oh, it's not.
It's not. This is another reason why I put down the score, because it reads like a Paladin card. It has an actual Paladin on the picture, but it's not a Paladin card. it kind of that doesn't feel like everybody can play it. Like this in Handlock, it would be ridiculous.
That's the one problem I'm having with this card. Like at that point, I'm dropping one Antique Healbot out of Handlock, and I'm taking this.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm considering never using Alexstrasza again for that purpose.
Okay, let's move to the cards we actually like. I'm starting with this next card was voted the highest in the crew. It's I don't know how it's going with community voting, but because we don't really care until the voting ends. But now we care obviously because the voters give the prizes. But this is Sage, and Sage says Battle Cry. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Now you cannot reorder them. You cannot do anything besides looking at them. So we are back on the information is key discussion from before. It's a 3-mana 3/3. So, and you look at the top 3 cards of your deck. So kind of the number 3 thematic. So I can tell that a lot of people gave it 10s, 9s in the crew. So, Chiv, I'm gonna start with you and ask you on your opinion on the card.
This is actually not a bad card. I've seen designs like this previous, both for Hearthstone and in Magic the Gathering. Putting it on a minion body, yeah, that's pretty cool. And this is a lot of information, and it's a one-time use.
Yeah.
All right, so Battlecry, bam, boom, boom. Okay, so I know you're going to have this coming up next. All right, so, ooh, you've got 2 kill commands coming up. I'm not going to let you have any of that shit.
Of your deck. Of your
deck.
Oh,
of your deck.
Yeah, not the opponent deck. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck.
Okay, all right. Well, in that case, then that'll help me plan out a lot of better things. If this was my opponent's deck, I would love this a whole lot more than of my deck. Because I know what's in my deck, but I want to see what he's got coming.
But you don't. You don't know what's next in your deck. That's the point of the card.
Yeah, that is true too.
This is why I love it, because it doesn't really spy on your opponent. Because a lot of people try designs that spy on the opponent. That some of them are really good, but nobody really got back to the idea of, okay, I just want to see what's in my deck, because I can then plan my own turns. I would actually, as a player, I would prefer to know what's coming for me than what's coming for the opponent. And this is why I think that Sage is actually better as it allows to scout your own deck rather than if it's scouted your opponent.
If we go back to my whole information is useless if you can't react. This one you can very much react. Like, there are cards in Hearthstone that seriously benefit from you knowing what is coming. Like, call pet. Yeah, I'm gonna call my Gasrilla. Thank you very much.
Though there is a thing about this card.
Holy Wrath. Yeah, it's that Golden Giant on spot 2. Like, I mean, that's actually what's could possibly break that card, even though it's probably Holy Wrath's 20 damage potential that's gonna break it. But yeah, like, that's kind of what I saw, and it adds something new and makes something more consistent, and that's why I gave it the full score of 10.
Yeah.
About Sage,
I agree with that. Yeah.
He what I love about the card is that in a deck that's inherently aggro control, like a deck like midrange Paladin or Druid, if by seeing the top 3 cards of your deck, you can easily decide which role you're going to play in that game.
Yep.
So you can definitely think, oh, right, so I see this card now. I'm looking at this, and that makes me think I need to play slower because I have a bunch of late game on top of my deck, and I think it'll be better than my opponent's late game.
Yeah, exactly. Because mid-range decks are essentially, hybrids. They change their position based on what cards they draw. If they draw more minions, they go on the beatdown. If they draw more spells, they go on the defensive. Yeah.
Or it just depends how much early game they draw versus their opponent, stuff like that. I'd put this in any deck that wasn't immediately trying to be fast, because information is very valuable to me.
Yeah, because even really fast mid-range decks like the Mech Mage, for example, I would use this because for example, I know what how much damage is coming, the next 3 turns, and you can also see, okay, do I want to trade now? Do I want to go for phase? Maybe if I have like 2 fireballs coming, I'm just going for the phase, and etc. etc. I can actually see it even in aggro decks. Like
I would see this in Oil Rogue.
Yeah.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, you play this in Oil Rogue. Here's the play. All right, do I want to try to go for the sprint right now? Well, I need to get these certain cards. Let me find out if that's coming up. Bam. Yeah. Oh, everything I need's coming up, and one more wild card that I won't quite know it. Well, hell, fuck it. Boom, boom. In Druid, it's even better. Do I want to try to pull for the combo? Will the combo be coming anytime soon? No, it's not. Okay, so I'll hold on to this Ancient of Lore 2 more turns, and then I'll play it.
Yep.
So it makes planning for what you're going to do, for your combinations, for your defense, your offense. makes it a lot nicer. But mind you, you're still having to spend 3 mana that turn for that information,
of course.
and
Yeah,
you're
well,
getting a 3/3 body.
but
So
yeah,
I mean,
again,
it does
you-
balance.
Yeah, but how sad are you about a 3/3 with
No,
such
you're not at
a
all. You're
potentially impactful effect?
No,
I
I'm
mean-
never sad.
I would also like to say one more thing. Like, if we look at like Sarge from World of Warcraft is the Dark Moon fortune teller. So this is spot on the fantasy
Mhm.
right here. Like, there's no Fandral. What the fuck is he doing as a hand reveal? Like, this is what he do. He reveals the future, and this is kind of like.
Wait, he's not a beast. Oh
No, he's a no.
He's a
a
guy.
no.
He's a gnome.
He's a Knoll.
No,
Knoll.
Knoll.
GNOLL.
Like, you know.
So
Hawkeye.
suddenly it lost all fun. It's not a beast. I cannot put it in face conjure. No, it just
Yeah,
it's
right.
like, yeah.
No, it would just be better as a beast. I assume it looked like a wolf and
Intelligence
so,
score too.
yeah, no, because it looked like a wolf on the picture, and I assumed, oh, he must have just forgotten to put the beast in.
All right.
So-
Let's
like
put
a
another
wolf with
card that
feathers,
we
yeah.
all really loved and we actually discussed last episode. It's Chromie. Now,
Oh, Chromie, yeah.
Chromie is, I think we all fucking love it just because it's such an elegant and wonderful design. It's 3 mana, 4/5, dragon, and it says battle cry. The next minion your opponent plays costs 1 less. So again, I think we discussed it internally that it kind of fits. Into the lore of Chromie, that it's a dragon that plays with time, and it kind of bends the time in this way for your opponent. So the guy actually who submitted this wrote me quite a huge email saying what he wants to do with the card, and I really appreciate these guys who invest time to explain where they're making the card. Of course, we are not grading it higher or lower for this, but it's always see to hear from the designer what his thoughts are. And this is basically I think a better Hungry Dragon overall. What do you guys think?
Better
Yeah.
Hungry Dragon isn't difficult. I think Chill and Yeti might be better than Hungry Dragon.
All right. So let's start with Stephanie and Christian here, because why did you like this card so much?
I want to say simple but elegant. Like, it's obvious what it's trying to do. Like, it's trying to kind of.
I thought you'd say it was bland.
No, I mean, it's a really, like, it's the strongest trade drop in the game, and obviously it needs a really serious drawback. Like, you cannot condition this kind of stuff, and it's a drawback that actually makes sense from a perspective. Like, it's kind of fast forwarding the play a bit. So, I mean,
I think I personally think it's not quite ready. Like, if it was to be implemented in the game today, I think it would be way too strong. But with a bit of power creeping and one expansion or two, I can definitely see this as a card that actually makes the card into the actual Hearthstone clients.
Yeah.
are you sure about that? I don't know.
Well, that
I
it's
mean,
too strong now.
Yeah, I mean, you play this and suddenly they play into, I don't know, low fab and you are mess, and this curves out really oddly. Like, I think it could work. Like, I mean, it's getting 1 extra mana is surprisingly impactful in terms of stats. So, like, I don't like. I think, and the good thing here is also that it would trade really well against faster decks, because like their curves are rock solid, which means they're actually less likely to be able to benefit from this, because now everything's shot out of proportion. Like, they are not planned for this kind of. So
I actually think that's completely wrong. I think aggressive decks would almost be the decks you wouldn't want to play us against.
I disagree.
Really?
I play this in Druid because I innervate this out turn 1, and whatever you do, okay, so here you are. As
you can play a 2 mana minion, have fun with it.
Exactly.
And I have a
fun.
4/5.
I'm knocking it out. What are you
I love how we're always going back to I innervate something stupid, and then you're
It's
fine.
the name of the show.
Yeah, we gotta give trivia to innervate, man.
We're being subversive, man.
I'm being subversive. No, I get, I do. But the cost reduction is actually kind of nasty here, and it's something I was thinking about. If like you play this on curve with no innervate, so you're giving your opponent possibly 5 available mana, 6 with coin.
Yep.
Okay.
No. If you played this on
It
curve,
depends.
they would have
They
3
would
mana.
They would
They would
3
have four.
plus 4 plus the coin is 5.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
5
All right.
mana.
So yeah, combined mana. So I mean that can get really tricky. It's like, aha, I get a Chromie. Haha, like you said, Loatheb. Or haha, I play a Sludge Belcher. Now what? So there's an inherent drawback, which is what I think you need for a card like this. And I actually think this is a very balanced design. I do think this is a balanced design because you can't have just like super awesome legendaries every single time because, you know, having too many versions of Dr. Boom is just toxic.
Yeah. You know, when we were going back to what we want to see in an early game legendary, this is what I want to see in an early game legendary. It has, you know, in 3 words, 5 words, it says exactly what it wants to do. It's easy to understand, and you can see the drawback, you can see the potential. I actually thought, like, you know what? This can actually make Dragon Consort even better because on turn 6 you can vomit a 5/5 and a 4/5 body, and it's certainly not bad.
Also, this card is very Hearthstone in the way that with the battle cry, it makes different things happen every
Yeah.
game, and since it's a legendary, it'll reasonably not happen every time, every game. You won't draw Chromie in your first 3 cards or first 7 cards every game, so it makes I think it's also very Hearthstone feeling in the way that it makes something different happen every game.
Okay, I'm gonna put out the last card for tonight. It's one of the most interesting ones I've seen personally because it's very unique mechanic in DLC. It's Matthias Shaw, one of the many Matthias Shaws we've seen. It's 1 mana, 1/1. It has stealth, and it says this minion will always replace one of the cards you mulligan. That's again, as I said, it's absolutely unique. I don't think we've ever seen, like, from the hundreds of submissions we've got through the months, anything that reacts to the mulligan phase. So I'm starting here with you, Shiv. What do you think about this card? And cause it kind of fits your alley of, you know, quirky card designs.
I love this. Okay. One of the big problems if you're not playing oil, or even if you're playing oil, is not having anything to do on turn 1. Right? You know, because depending on what you're facing, you're going to be drawing for some very specific cards. Well, against certain classes, Rexar, you bastard, they almost always have a turn 1, a turn 2, a turn 3, and just go progressively on the curve. You're stuck there basically eating a bunch of damage because as a rogue, they know you're probably going to go for some burst. So they got to kill you before you ever get anything set up. This guy basically is going to give you something to where now you don't have to dagger up and smack into Leper Gnome. I like that.
This card is terrible from a gameplay perspective, but it's really good from a couple... It's a very cool design, though it's the opposite of Chromie. Okay. I was saying earlier that Chromie feels very Hearthstone in the way that she works. This card doesn't. In no way, shape, or form.
Are you sure? Like, I mean, I want to say this. Like, this one, like, it's what made me upvote this highly is the fact that it does something nothing else have done, and it's just I would even say it does something nothing else could do. Like,
right.
I mean, this
I completely understand that.
This is the maximum
like
benefit.
RNG.
This is the maximum benefit of the digital platform. Like, you would never be able to design anything like this in a live TCG. Like, it would never work. It would just be really bloody awful. Like, I mean, I love this because
people are asking in the Twitch chat, why would you want to guarantee 1/1 on turn 1? Now it's when I look at this, is like, okay,
see, that's my question.
Yeah, and let me give you my reasoning. You know, apart from the what Shiv said, like, okay, it stops like the 1-drops of a lot of the aggressive decks, or at least, you know, it kills one of the creatures. It guarantees you that you don't have a sluggish dead card that you will never use until like turn 5, because we know that, okay, I mulligan Ragnaros and then I get back Dr. Boom for it, so it's kind of like you didn't mulligan at all. Now, obviously you can get a way better card than 1 mana 1/1 when you mulligan for something else, like without showing your deck. But if you do, you're at least guaranteed something that you can play early. And
Yeah.
this is what the mulligan phase is all about. Setting up your your early game. And since it's a roll card, it doesn't really risk how to say, losing, valuable removal to get this.
Right.
Though
There's another point to this too. I'd like to point out. It's a combo starter.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah, like, and that actually, like, I saw when I read the comments on the threads of this show, I saw like, why is so many people asking why is such a minor character seen in so many cards? Like, this is Matthias Shaw. He's like the most badass rogue in all of Azeroth. Like, what the hell are you talking
the
about?
SI7 agency.
Yeah, like all of those guys toast. He's the guy who rules those guys. Like, and I mean, like, and that's kind of, one of the fiddle things. Like, that's kind of what the rogue class is all about. Like, they don't get to appear in 7 cinematics across World of Warcraft because, they're just about getting the job done and filing a report. Like, that's. So yeah, I mean, I don't actually think he's going to be a card. I would think he would be the alternate hero for Rogue because.
Yeah.
I actually agree with that because I've been trying to figure out. I was like, all right, they're doing alternate hero portraits. Who is it going to be for Rogue? And this one all the time.
I think we had 2 other show submissions. One of them was, I think you drew 2 cards on Battlecry and on Death Rattle your opponent drew 2 or 3 cards, something like this.
Yeah, ludicrously broken.
And the other one was a bit more interesting. It actually had a token that it infiltrated the other person's deck, and then like in the top 10 cards or something, if I'm not mistaken. So until your opponent draws this infiltrator, he revealed every card that he drew, and once he does, he draws 2 cards, I think, or something like this. So again, I think we featured it in one of the posts. People say, in the top 10 cards it might be too broken, especially if it's like the 10th card, because this reveal is like 1/3 of your deck essentially, and even more if you infiltrate it later in the game. But again, everybody loves Shaw. Everybody wants to design cards with you. I think, like, even if you
I've
go,
designed a card with him in the past, like in the Hero Power content. I designed something with him.
yeah, he's a badass. But anyways, this actually brings our show to an end. I can maybe mention quickly about how the rankings are, the voting content is going, but I think a lot of these cards we haven't really talked about, because this is the effect we get. Like, the cards we vote really high not always win the community vote. I think this was the case only with the first month, when we had a really cool Spirit of Redemption design for Priest, and
that was a good card. That was a great design.
This was, and the guy who actually designed this, made Hamul in this competition. Hamul was, a druid card, legendary, that at every turn summons a 1-cost beast. So this was really cool. So this guy is has some nice ideas. I think he's in the top 20 as well. So anyways, again, let's wrap this show. Enough card talk. I think we're pushing. Again, almost 2 hours. God damn it. So quick closing words, from everybody. Stefan, starting with you.
I don't know, like, I'm not doing anything. I mean, I work on an article that's probably gonna arrive in a week or so, but that's it. I'm not a streamer.
Christian?
Yeah, you can check out my channel, twitch.tv/SirChristian. I just stream qualifiers mainly, so.
Are you winning any of them? Oh.
No. Ouch, Rado. Are you?
Well, I'm not even playing, like.
Shots fired.
I'm going like the way of the egg. So I try a game, I'm not good at it, and then I try another game. So I'm playing Heroes of the Storm now. And when I decided to suck at this, I'll probably go to something else. Like Overwatch will come in the fall.
In
so-
the end, Rado will just be on mobile games with
Yeah,
very
yeah,
high
just-
release rates.
yeah,
Candy Crush for the win, yo.
yo.
Rado P, I'm looking for writers for our new Candy Crush section. Section. Can you help me out, Christian?
You're making fun, but both our Hearthstone and League of Legends sections started as April jokes.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, then again, you could play Candy Crush really fast, which, according to Radu's girlfriend, that's a
Yeah,
common
that's my thing. Yeah, you know, like if I can finish a Candy Crush game under 1 minute, that's my home run swing.
My
Yeah,
Hearthstone games usually last about 2, so.
Oh well, that's twice as long. You're twice the
Okay.
lover.
Play Hearthstone without using Rexar.
Oh, I can do that. I'm actually playing Malfurion right now.
So you're beating people under 2 minutes. What are you, ramp into
No,
Dr.
I'm
Boom
not,
every-
I'm not saying now. I'm just saying in general, on average.
Okay. No, I'm asking like how do you win with Druid under 2 minutes? Do you just get double innervate Dr. Boom and people just
Oh,
surrender?
no.
Aggro Druid.
I mean, I'm winning with Hunter under 2 minutes. On average, when I'm playing other classes, they last longer, of course.
Yeah,
But
like 2.5, 3. Anyways, Chief, final words from you.
You can check me out on my Twitter, on the Twitch. Just put the Shiv after Twitch dot whatever, and you can check me out on the YouTube with the Shiv Gaming on there. I really need to simplify everything up. There just needs to be more Shiv everywhere. That's all there is to it.
you should maybe add an S. You should maybe change it to S to prevent common misspellings.
The Shiv.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Every time you type in the Shiv on YouTube, what you get is the chive.
The Chive.
And right now there's a Scotsman in Cyprus going, "See, told you, I told you I'd make you say it."
All right, and you can guys find me at GG Nidra on Twitter. You can find my work and Christian's and Stefan's work on Gosu Gamers. The Twitter is at GosuGamersHS. Thank you again for joining us.
My Twitter is right below my face, around
Yeah,
somewhere.
everybody's Twitters are under their faces. You don't have to worry about this. People can. I hope that our audience can read at least. It's.
Reading. What's that?
I'm pretty sure they can. We don't get really many Americans because we're streaming in EU time zone. So
Hey man, it's like 4:47 over here, so you know, like I know there's a couple people from Oklahoma, Ringosu, who are sitting there while they're supposed to be working at a university, you slacker, watching this right now.
all right, and again, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you guys enjoyed the cards. We will reveal. Actually, the winners will be revealed tomorrow, and on July 1st, we'll announce the new month and the new challenge. Tune in again on Monday for another episode of the Innervated. We will have actually a lot more content coming on this channel. Every Saturday and Sunday we'll have Tavern Brawl Open streamed on the European server, and we are trying to get them on the NA server as well, shooting for Thursday and Friday. So we'll hopefully get you like a 7-day a week broadcast, or at least for the better part of the week, something Hearthstone for you to watch. But this was all from us. See you, and until next time, bye.
Bye.